fight the fight till I win the war. I like the sound of slamming doors. Do you like the taste of swords? 'Cause that's what you've been asking for. Honey, I don't bother with lies. I was blind. Should've known your desires. You just poured gas on the fire. Watch me get higher and higher. You just poured gas on the fire. Burn the bridges, burn them down. Take no souls, make no vows. Welcome to the graveyard of promises. Ashes to ashes, no second chances here. You just poured gas on the fire. Watch me get higher and higher. You just poured gas on the fire.
It's too hot to hold you. It'll be nice to know you. But there'll be no over. We'll speak no tax, so we'll hit no closure. And we'll see no conflict. Just the explosion. No, I can't control you. No, I can't get closer. Just the soul and the sofa. I hate this feeling, the feeling so unattached. My motives will end up under attack. Invited to fight, fire will fire. Not in it while I'm thinking I finally found a match. Strike one, strike two. I guess a whole box might do. Funny how they never seen a light like you. Another addiction to kick when I'm in the feeling I get with nothing that's willing to fight through. What's a rose to a phoenix? Like a nose to a sphinx. When we at war with the beast, why you holding your peace? You're too close to the heat. It's to the highs too from. Sent to reach. What you asking for? Level scars, still getting back for more. Now if you love the sight of seeing someone crash and burn, then you're somebody that I'll probably be fantastic for in a flame on.
You just poured gas on the fire. Watch me get higher and higher. You just poured gas on the fire. Oh, you just poured gas on the.
Hey, we are live and back only months afterwards because we're low on the budget. But we are now making a SYLA podcast, episode 3. And it's your host, Lodi. And you know what SYLA is for. It means support your local artist. And today, I'm joined with none other than, drumroll please.
Do I need a drum roll too?
You should totally drumroll. And introduce yourself and go.
What's up? I'm Lo.
Ooh, smooth. smooth. Okay.
The radio talk voice, okay?
It is.
Cool,
All right.
cool.
Tell me about where the name Lo came from.
So it was a nickname when I was growing up.
Mm-hmm.
And it was something that my friends called me when I was exhibiting like my most confident self, my most authentic self. Like, I see you, Lo. Like,
It's like, okay.
you know? So, you know, this persona, this artistic persona, it kind of embodies that. Like, I'm trying to capture the essence of like confidence. So
That's cool.
it's me with a cape on.
I feel
essentially.
that. Okay.
Okay, cool.
I kind of didn't know. Is it short for like your last name, or like is it just kind of like
No, it's just
Hello.
like kind of like it flows.
nice?
Yeah.
Lo.
Yeah.
I dig it.
Yeah.
People have always called me Lodi, even since I was a kid. Full name is Nigerian. It's like lengthy or whatever. But my parents always just called me Lodi.
Nice.
And even though in Nigeria, the proper way to abbreviate my full name is Dikbo, because it's like, it's
Wow.
Nigerian. Did I say that it's Nigerian? Let me say that it's Nigerian again 5 more times. Okay. Okay.
What is your full
The
name?
full name is Oladipupo Oyediran.
Wow.
Yeah, first and last. And then everybody in the family always chooses to like give you like 4 middle names. So I have 4 middle names. So I don't think I've said it on the podcast. And actually, it's just a treat for whoever gets this episode. My full name, you will never hear this again elsewhere, is Oladipupo Olufemi Oyedeji Akani Abdul-Jalil Oyediran. And that's 411 for today. Yeah.
That's a lot.
Lottie pretty
but
easy.
amazing.
When I was a teacher, they just called me Mr. O. Because that's
the best
way easier to go with. Okay,
Yeah.
so I want to find out more about you like I do, because on the SYLA podcast, I kind of want to just talk to artists and get to know them as a person, and let whoever's listening on this platform also get to know them on a certain level. So like, are you DFW born and raised?
Yes.
Nice.
So originated from Waxahachie.
If a little further east, south?
South.
Oh.
Yeah, south.
I've been to Waxahachie, I think like once or twice.
I'm so sorry.
I grazed
Just kidding.
I grazed DeSoto, and I'm like, woo! Almost got to Waxahachie.
Gotta turn back around.
Turn back around.
It's a cool spot. I'm glad I have somewhere with my roots, but moved around a little bit in Texas and then settled down in downtown Dallas.
That's cool.
So that's where I'm at now.
Nice. I moved to Texas in 2005
Cool.
from a completely different country. You can guess what country it is. You can just do that if you want to.
France.
And we moved to like plot twist.
Plot
It's actually
twist.
Nigeria in France. But there was we moved to like the Fort Worth side. I don't know if you've heard of Watauga. Speaking of W cities.
No.
Watauga and Waxahachie in the building.
No.
These
are mouthfuls.
Watauga and Waxahachie.
Foreign lands.
Foreign lands.
Yeah.
People are like, oh, you're from Dallas. It's like, well, technically.
We just we say Dallas like when we're talking to out of towners.
It's the only one that they know.
Yeah.
All right. So, yeah. Have you always created music in some fashion, or are you an artist in some way? Like, have you been singing since like you came out and you just...
Oh my gosh. Like as long as I can remember, really.
Nice.
Both of my parents are musicians. Mom did opera
Got,
and like classical
ooh,
training, and my dad did jazz
nice.
up at UNT where they met. And
That's a
like,
cool love story.
it's cool, yeah. But like it's funny because my mom, so she dated the lead guitarist for Lynyrd Skynyrd before he joined the band.
Nice.
His name was Sparky. And then Sparky went to University of North Texas, and my mom followed him there instead of going with the school that accepted her also, which was Juilliard.
Oh.
So like my parents are like serious, serious, like a bar to live up to, and so that's
pretty
constantly
cool.
been pushing me in like my craft. But
Gotcha.
it was taught to me that was a way to process through emotion, and like just catharsis. Like we have a piano in my childhood home, and my bedroom was right above it. And so on the weekends or really any day, because my mom was a stay-at-home mom, I would hear the piano going, and she's writing and
Nice.
processing through stuff.
So you always just like, you were surrounded by music a lot.
Oh yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
I suppose like it makes sense that if you ever kind of come into doing music as an artist on some level, performing artist on some level, that like that music comes from somewhere. Like I don't think I never kind of encountered music that way in my house that inspired me to write music. Like I drummed for church, and I think that's what more got me about like hype about music. Like I listened to my mom, and she played like gospel music all the time, and I was like, that's cool. And my dad would listen to like some interesting weird stuff that I didn't get to appreciate until now. He was listening to like classical rock, like Dire Straits and a couple other just kind of interesting, cool stuff from the 70s and rock vibes and Hendrix and whatnot.
Yeah.
I think somewhere in there, maybe I like was fascinated by guitar, but I really didn't even like pick that up until like years.
Yeah,
years
because
down the
now
line.
that's your instrument of choice, right? Okay.
The first thing I ever played was like drums. The first thing as an artist I ever did was draw. Like, so I think like more so than like being an artist is I've just always like created and like artistry and playing guitar or playing drums or doing something of that sort is another way to like put a craft out there.
Yeah.
'Cause like as a kid, you're just kind of like, this is kind of cool if I can draw this thing and kind of make it like my own thing. It's like my own little version of this thing.
Yeah.
And people like it, you can kind of show it to them. People always kind of give you compliments for it. I'm like, that's kind of cool. And it was, I think for me, I was a very restless kid. So like it was what calmed me down. Like I would like watch a movie or whatever, but I'd still kick around.
Yeah.
I could focus, but I wasn't like too focus heavy.
That's me now.
Me.
Like I can't sit through movies. I'll be on the couch, like laptop, no pads, things going on.
Doing something.
Yeah.
And that's essentially like you just never stop doing that as a kid. But like drawing would let me sit down for like 2 hours just trying to
just
get
to
these
focus.
lines right.
Yeah.
And I think like people like you and me who create stuff like that, we just need like the right thing that we're doing that makes us feel something in that level, and then it's easy to do.
Yeah.
Right. So if you
Sure.
like performed very often around DFW, are you kind of recent or?
Recent. So I started doing music professionally a while ago, but it was writing for other people, writing for other artists and doing top lining for EDM artists.
Gotcha.
Overseas. And then about 2 years ago, I started this journey as Lo and started doing that. So
Nice.
I've been gigging here in DFW ever since.
Where have you
It's been
played?
Awesome. Where? Oh gosh. So many places.
It comes at you fast.
So
It comes
many.
at you fast.
I'll give you my favorite venues I've been at.
Yeah, that's a good start.
I got to do Trees, and that's like my all-time favorite. I've been going there since I was a
Nice.
teenager, so it was weird to be able to like be on the other side of the coin, like on stage there,
That's cool.
and that was really awesome. The Granada. That
Nice,
was really awesome
nice,
too. We
nice,
did
nice.
an all-female lineup there.
Ah, badass. Who else?
It was amazing.
Oh, who else was on the lineup?
On the bill,
Mm-hmm.
it was Alex Blair was there.
Nice.
Alex Blair was there. Yeah, I'm trying to remember. This has been like over a year ago. Wow. Like there were so many women. It
All
was
of them are gonna be
amazing.
like,
I mean,
oh,
like
she doesn't remember me.
you don't remember.
She must not be important.
Stacey was there. She's awesome.
Not to be confused with Stacy's mom.
No, not Stacey's mom.
Completely different
Stacey,
person.
amazing
The actual
artist
Stacey.
here. Yeah, she does like pop EDM stuff. Super cool. Sweet girl. But yeah, there was amazing
So
female artists.
Trees, Granada.
She's Granada.
Where else are your favorite couple spots? Any?
Oh gosh. Those are my top two really. It's amazing. But there's so many other great venues here in DFW.
There are for sure.
Yeah.
Like being in the band and getting to play those is kind of nice. Like
Mhm.
some of them are a little bit hard to play through.
Yeah. Like outdoor venues.
A little bit when it's summer.
Yeah. Texas weather is so unpredictable.
It's unforgiving.
Yeah.
Is there anything you kind of want to tell people who listen to this that's supposed to know about you and what your artistry is?
Like what I do?
Like I suppose maybe the why you do it. Do you have a particular message kind of wrapped up in a bow and tie to tell people about follow your dreams, etc.?
Oh my gosh.
I don't.
I
Be
don't
realistic.
either.
Don't follow your dreams. I'm kidding.
Yeah, be practical.
Be practical,
Stick
pragmatic.
to your day job. No, I
That 9 to 5 is the only thing keeping you
No.
going. Just keep going.
have a roof over your head and food in your stomach, and that's okay. But no, I really don't. I live by a lot of different codes and beliefs, but the biggest one is self-love for me, and like empowering yourself, especially for women.
Gotcha.
In music and art, I think we're kind of overlooked, and we're told to kind of be an object in the room and like just look pretty and sound good, and sometimes don't sound good. Like we have auto-tune for that. But for me, like being raised by two incredible musicians, and like my dad is an audio engineer,
Nice.
and both of them have such an ear for production. And so that was something that I had drilled into me at an early age. It was like, you need to be multifaceted. So like I was writing in all these different genres. I was learning how to produce in different DAWs, and like
Nice.
just becoming as well versed as I could in different areas. And so now I am self-producing my record.
Ooh.
And that's been hard because I'm a perfectionist.
Yeah.
And like the first project I tried to do it solely on my own, and I ended up deleting the project 5 times.
Oh, like had you gotten through like a significant chunk before, or was it like one song?
And it was gone.
It was oof.
And it was gone. And the people looking over my shoulder watching this process were like so mad. They're like, but it was so good. Like it was almost done. Like,
You
like
got it.
no, it's not perfect.
There is like I'm just now understanding why there's a person that you ask to mix your songs.
Yes.
And then why there's a person you ask to master it.
Yes.
Like I didn't really know the difference between the two. I was like, you can just record it, and as long as it sounds good, like people will dig it. And it's like,
No.
there's more to that artistry. But we're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna locate the third guest who is coming in here somewhere and trying to contact me. So this is the SYLA podcast. In between these runs, you'll probably hear either Lodi Lo's music or somebody else who's performing at the mutual show that we're coming and gonna talk about in a second here. It's called Locapalooza. The third one. Okay. We're gonna take a quick break and we'll be right back. This is the SYLA podcast, and it's Lodi interviewing the wonderful, wonderful Lo. Speaking of which, have you heard that Chance album, the new one?
The new one?
Mm-hmm.
I've heard bits and pieces of it.
What's it called, Dennis? It's the one with the bedazzled CD. I forget. It's called like
The Best Day
The Best Day.
or The Big Day.
It's
revolved around like his wedding day.
Oh.
Yeah, that's
okay.
what he said.
It's kind of interesting. Like I listened to it and I was like, all right, sounds like a classic Chance the Rapper type thing.
Yeah.
But then a lot of it was like I always feel like a sense of whiplash when I'm listening to Chance the Rapper. Like I'm all over the place.
It's like different stuff.
But parlaying that topic, is there any new album or released project or single that's giving you life these days?
These days?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
And then we'll have the wonderful Mr. David Johnson, who has joined us in the studio, answer
All
the
right.
question shortly afterwards. He showed up in true fashion
Yes.
just to give y'all a piece of the game and let y'all know what's going on. He's got a Def Leppard shirt. This man's
That's
not
right.
here to fuck
That's right.
around.
I'm classic. I don't know if I know any new albums.
Pulled up
I can name
with
some pretty
Some
wicked
old
albums from
classic
88, though.
threads.
That's
Like, I need 88. I got you.
That's
I
a
got
good
you.
year. That's a good year.
It's a good year. Okay,
Oh my
so
gosh.
back to the question at hand. What's that?
No, I love Banks. She's amazing. And she just released a record, and Bon Iver actually helped her produce it. But it's interesting because it's more like electronic with hip hop influence and like pop alternative. Like
That's kind of
they've
cool.
got like Timbaland drums and phasers and like all this
They're
stuff
like,
going on. Yeah. So maybe I look
That's
at
the
it from
Timbaland drums.
like the sound
comes to
design
mind.
perspective. I nerd out about that. I'm like, this is so dope.
Tell me I'm wrong.
What about you, David? What you been listening to? lately?
Yeah, He Is Legend. I don't know if I listen to the harder stuff. He Is Legend came out with a new album called White Bat.
Ooh, did you listen to the
really
new
good.
Tool album?
Oh no, I didn't. but
Not
I heard
you?
about it. No, I know.
I
No,
figured you
haven't-
would.
I
All
haven't
right.
heard yet.
For
Yeah.
those who don't know, introduce yourself, man, and tell us a little
I'm
bit
David.
about yourself.
I play bass in Conifer.
Conifer.
Yeah,
They
where
have
I-
a single called Colin, which you're probably going to hear or have already heard on this podcast.
Yeah, pretty excited about that.
It's Colin. Wow.
I don't sing because I play bass.
Groovy.
Not that
He hears the bass
players
riff in
don't
his head.
sing, but yeah. they
So
don't
when
like
you
to
hear
sing.
the song, do you literally hear the bass riff? You don't even hear the song, you just hear the
Yeah, I do. I really do. And that's how it is in most of the songs.
Like, what about when you're listening to other people's stuff? You like pick.
You
that
only hear
up?
the
Oh
bass.
yeah, I really pick out the bass a lot and the
my
drums.
gosh.
That's really the relationship that I'm most interested in.
Dude, fun thing,
Because,
the drums hit me before even the guitar of a song.
dude,
The rhythm has to be there for me.
Oh yeah. Oh, when it gets you in your soul.
Tasty pocket.
Oh yeah.
Tasty pockets.
Oh yeah.
It's like Hot Pockets, but
It
tasty.
feels good. There's this feeling when you get, and you guys know because I've seen you guys live, when you get the drums and the bass like locked in, and there's like that groove, and like you like feel it in your gut, and you're
The
just
kick
you like don't
goes with
stop,
it.
just keep playing that, and you're just like it just like lulls you. You're like, oh yeah,
Dude, you should be at our practice. If you're at our practice
Yeah.
and you just hear like me and Marcus vibe back and forth, and then
Yeah.
Ketu's just like not even stressed about his
Yeah.
show. It's like what I really,
we forget about time.
dude, what I really want to do is bring people to pay to see a practice session, which sounds crazy,
It's more chill.
but it's kind of like you get to see the artistry and how it's being made. Like yesterday,
Yeah.
wrote a whole new song.
Yeah,
I wrote a whole new verse and chords and chorus and pre-chorus for it. And it was like, we just did that. And then it's like,
Yeah.
yep, it's the power of the trio.
you guys write organically like that too. You don't have like we do too. We get down and
I
like,
just
we,
mash on the keyboard.
It's like,
create
oh,
poetry.
It's so weird how it comes together. We don't really. We have like an idea of like a skeleton maybe, but man, it's like every song we've written is just flows out.
Let's do that. Okay, I want to talk more to both of y'all about your songwriting
Yeah.
process. How do y'all do it? Whoever wants to go first, go.
Go ahead, ladies first.
Oh boy. Okay. He's like, I want to think about my answer.
That's
Put
actually
you on
what it
the
is. Yeah,
spot.
I'm not gonna
Like,
lie.
how am I gonna
so
get away with
kind.
this? How am I gonna
I
get
just
away with
met you.
I'm a
and I don't know
modern
how
gentleman.
I feel about you now. But oh man, no, I have so many different ways to go about it.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like, you know, I use music as a way to process through emotion. So I'm constantly going into the studio when like I'm experiencing an extreme emotion, like very
Is the studio
sad.
like
very-
the next room over?
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. I turned my second room in my apartment into a studio. So.
Perfection.
it's very nice, very exciting. But yeah, I do that, and sometimes like I'll just think of a melody and it'll come to me, and then I go and like suss it out, and then the rest of it comes, and so it's just you gotta answer to ideas and inspiration when they come to you.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. What's your your art,
like
your
super
battle
poetic.
axe of choice? Meaning your weaponry. Like, do you play it on keys first if you hear a melody, or do you like play it on guitar? Do you make it in like the DAW?
Keys.
Nice.
Keys. So I have a MIDI controller, and then I'll like go in and like usually I'll start with like a grand piano sound just to kind of get the melody or the chord progression down, and then I'll go through and play with different plugins and stuff and be like, okay, and sometimes like I'll mess with them so much that they don't sound like how they originally did, which is my favorite part. It's like this, like in one of the songs that I put out.
It's like a cocoon shelled out something.
Yeah,
new.
yeah, like the melodic hook in Soul Plus Body, you can kind of hear in the background. There's like this dun 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 dun. That's a steel drum.
Huh.
But I mess with it so much that it just kind of sounds like almost like a bell or like it's different.
That's cool.
But I love doing that stuff.
Nice. You got your answer ready, Dave.
Steel drums, man. That's like
That
that's
give you
next
an
level.
answer.
It's like I gotta write that down.
Steel drums, yeah. Put it through a flanger or flanger. I don't even know how to put it.
Bell
Or
like
flanger.
steel
I think it's
drums.
flanger.
Flanger?
I don't know.
I still don't
Flanger?
know, but I use it every day.
I'd ask Caleb, but he pronounced everything wrong. So
Caleb's got like a massive, ridiculous pedal board that just makes
he
me
uses
feel
like two pedals.
I feel inferior every time I jam out with that guy.
Yeah.
He shows he's got like fucking 10 to 12 like nice pedals in this board put together.
Oh, yeah.
Caleb, if you're listening to this, I love you, man. Downsize that pedal board or
Oh,
never
yeah.
downsize it. Don't change for anybody.
Just
I'm
keep
trying to
adding
get him to
to
go.
it.
I'm trying to get him to go Helix, but he won't do it.
That's what a friend of mine is doing. Is like he sells his Helix and like upgrades from the old one.
Yeah.
Right, so he's like, just get a Helix and you can
Yeah.
program all those sounds in, and like
Yeah.
it's literally all you ever need. But I'm
Yeah.
like, I feel kind of. It looks like alien technology to me. Maybe I'm kind of weird, but it's just like one board with like just
Yeah.
ramps and screens and
Yeah.
like only 3 buttons. And I'm
It's
like,
2019, dude. What's wrong
You
with you?
need like the actual physical
I
pedal.
need 5,000 knobs that don't go right the
Yeah.
first time. I
Yeah.
need to have that in my artistry.
Yeah.
I need to fuck it up on stage.
Yeah.
By hitting the delay instead of the
Yeah.
loop.
Oh my gosh, I got to tell you this story.
I need
So,
to. Tell me, yes. Throw it in there.
Caleb and I used to be in this Christian metal band.
Christian
And,
metal
yeah.
band.
Yeah, it was pretty dope.
I love it already. What was it called?
It's called Delsur, DELSUR of the South. 'Cause we were in the
Okay.
South. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Del Sur of the South.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. So we our first show, we were all sorts of excited. I was really, really excited. And I left my tuner on for the first 3 songs. It was muted. Yeah, and I was like the whole time I was like looking at the sound guy. I was
What's
like,
going on?
turn me up some. I can't hear it.
Like, you were muted.
He's like, I got you all the way. I can't go. So I could come on in the 4th song. It's like,
Oh, man.
yeah. So
That was
you
your
live and
first
learn.
show?
Yeah, that was my first show.
Oh, that's epic. Okay.
Anyway, songwriting.
We've got to use that. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, songwriting
Tell
process.
us.
So yeah, songwriting process is usually it will start with some sort of keyboard or guitar melody.
With Robbie or Caleb.
Yeah, and it's more of just an idea. Usually, like the last song we wrote was just flew through 3 chords.
I think
No.
so.
Is that it? Yeah.
Flew through-
BAE. So that's what we call it right now. We call it Bay.
Bay.
We don't have a name
Nice.
for it. It's just BAE.
It's a good one.
So yeah, so it just comes out of that, and
Take it to the drummer.
and that's what it kind of is. Yeah, like they present it. And it's like this presentation, like hey, this is
They have
3 chords.
PowerPoints.
and then we're like,
first
oh, that's
song
nice.
is B.
Laser pointer.
And then I'll funk everything up. I'll take it and I'll
It's
be
like, so CDF, gotcha.
yeah. I'll play with it, and then the drummer will do something funky too, and then like Caleb loves to riff, so he'll do some like down home like southern riff, and then there'll be a solo,
Nice.
definitely, because he likes to solo.
Dude, he definitely
Gotta
like,
have a solo.
It's
He's-
worth it. It's worth it because that dude's got like some mad guitar skills, man.
He's not even real life. Like he's like, I'm pretty sure he sold his soul.
He's worked so at some crossroads
yeah,
somewhere
he's
in
got
Lubbock.
like some like blues story. Yeah, like
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
yeah,
Watch,
he's crazy.
So
watch
I don't know where he learned
Supernatural
it.
Brothers turn up real quick.
He just
Gotta
kind of
save
showed
him.
up with a guitar one day and Look what I can do.
Nice. Supernatural. Anybody watch that show?
Oh yeah.
Dude,
So-
I stopped after like season
10. That's when I stopped. Because God had a sister, and I was just like, nah, I'm good.
That's
I'm
it.
good, fam. Nah. Sorry.
God had a sister.
Yeah, it was just like, it just got dumb because it was like,
It
I was
Plot-
feeling it,
no.
you know? And
It
I was,
started running out of things to explore.
Plot twist.
was.
His sister is God.
But I don't know what it is. It's like, yeah, it was kind of like that, but it
The
was
writers
kinda,
are still developing. You should listen to my idea.
No. And then they just kind of threw her away as a character. They were like,
Yeah,
she's like
they weren't very
evil and-
invested.
no. It's just, but Sam and Dean, I mean, that's
Sam
what,
and Dean
that's
are
what
like,
it's about,
yeah,
right?
Sam and
Like,
Dean. Sam and Dean.
Monster hunting, like, that's what it goes back to.
Lo, you never seen any supernatural episodes?
No.
Not even one?
No.
All right, your assignment tonight,
To go.
before you pull up to local police.
First 2 seasons, at least.
I don't know if I
Yellow
would
Eyes.
Shouldn't I be working on my set?
one episode.
Like, go waste your time.
one episode
Okay.
of Supernatural. Maybe not 2 seasons. It's a little heavy. It's a bit of a commitment.
Oh,
It's
no.
a-
She could get through Yellow Eyes. That was a pretty cool story arc.
Is it gonna be scary? Do I need to keep my lights on?
And
It's like,
watch it with
do you
someone.
find Taco Bell spicy? You know, like, if you do, then yeah, you probably can't handle
do
it.
you
but
find Taco Bell spicy?
you know what I'm saying?
Like,
That is the equivalent
No.
answer.
You know, like that's how I measure spice. When
Then-
people are like,
then-
is it spicy?
Is it oh
is
my
mayo
God.
spicy for you? Well,
Mayo.
probably can't handle it then.
Have you ever met someone who can't handle the spiciness of mayo? Stay away from them.
Yeah.
The universe is trying to kill them.
no. It's like
Stay
no.
away from that
All right.
guy.
I'm
No.
getting hot from laughing too
All
much.
right, all right.
Mayo.
We
Gotta
gotta,
be serious.
gotta cool it right back down and find some of the cool, relevant questions
All right,
to bring
cool
about. All right,
down.
biggest gaffs. What's the biggest gaffs you've ever had happen on stage? Speaking of Mr. Tuner Mute.
Like a screw up. Oh my gosh. My mic
That's
was,
out there on the internet forever now.
my mic was off.
What?
My mic was off. We had this like I
Ooh.
had programmed a whole entire intro to like make it so dramatic when I stepped on stage. My band was out there already, and I walked out and my mic was off.
Oh.
So at,
How?
at Texas Live.
Ooh, wait, was
At
it
Texas
at the one that we
You
played?
know who you are. Yes.
Ooh.
Yes.
Death threats, they coming for you.
No.
We coming for-
no.
oh, no, we're not,
But
we're not.
somebody didn't turn my mic on or didn't
Ooh.
tell me, hey, turn your mic on. And so I
Ooh.
walked out and I was like starting and nobody could hear me and everyone looked confused and like
How quickly did it get rectified?
we had to start the song completely over.
No.
Yeah, we had to, and there were a lot of people there, and it was just really embarrassing. Like I was having a panic attack the whole time because on top of that, the only place that vocals were coming out of was the center monitor. So if I moved away from
You
the
couldn't
center
hear
monitor,
yourself.
Yeah.
but also because it was coming out of the center monitor, I was getting feedback if I got too close.
Oh,
So I was like
man.
isolated to this one spot, and I was like, all right, I'm just gonna like kind of sidestep.
That's heavy, and I feel that because
Yeah.
like the entire stage was like concrete, wasn't it?
Yes.
So sound bounced all
Yes,
over the
the
stage,
whole
and like
venue.
they had feedback issues even when
whole
like I
venue.
played
With
for
us,
Raz.
yeah. Do you guys play outside or do you play inside?
We played like Texas Live is kind of like outside-ish.
Yeah.
It was like amphitheaters.
We played on the outside stage too. So
Yeah, that's
yeah,
the
I
one.
think that's the reason.
It's all concrete
Yeah.
because there's no
Yep.
like the drums. We had to like find someone who had a carpet. I'm not sure that they had a carpet
Yeah.
for the drums, just like because otherwise your drums would just slide all over the fucking place.
That's what happened to
And
my
the green
drummer.
room
He
was
was
awesome,
holding
though.
on to the snare.
Ooh.
Like, and so at the end, he just like everything was falling. He
Man.
just threw his sticks. He's
Wow.
like, I'm done. I'm out. Ugh.
Well, all right, dang.
Yeah.
Biggest gaffes. I don't think of a big gaff particularly. I think of any performance where like I didn't feel the vocals myself to be like a gaff that way. I've definitely also just like done a slew of like mess ups on stage for sure, as far as like hitting the wrong note at a very poignant point of the song. Like it's the bridge. You
You're
can't
human?
hook up like the
Caleb's somewhere
bridge.
laughing at me right now.
It's like I know which moment exactly.
Like I've definitely like fucked up effects on my pedal at some level and had the effects that weren't supposed to be there and haven't been
Yeah.
like, that sounds cool or that's not sounding cool at all. Have definitely like popped a few strings on stage and just been like, well, it's gonna have to play the second half with no E string.
That's always
Dang,
the
the
one to
E.
go.
That's an awkward timer.
It's
So
like
that means we
happy.
have
It's
to-
like you're done.
Time to wrap up.
It's like you're done.
Your toast to
Wrap it
strudel
up.
is done.
All right, we'll be right back after these messages and another sound from a local artist. It's Lodi, Lo, and David. Lodi, Lo, and David on the SYLA podcast.
We should start it.
Dennis has
La
T.
Lo.
Where'd you get the T?
LLD.
LLD. Peace.
It's our new band.
Be right back.
Wishes in my hit list. Misery is business. Been busy with the bench for the booze and the bands and the biddy with the big tits. Dimwits. Busy trying to put me like a Fitbit. Stop. See me play pennies for thoughts. Like you play pennies with stocks. Gambling a lot. You should pretend like you're grown. Bitch, I can do bad on my own. Stop. I'll burn that bitch when I get too old. Yeah, baby. I'll disappear like a cigarette. Just when it's getting too good not to look. I'll burn that bridge when I get to it. I'll disappear like a cigarette. Just when it's getting too good not to burn. It's getting way too late. I'm a modern man that's in search of a soul, but never mock what it seems to me, to know, to read, to grow, to reach the soul, to bleed, to know it's a high IQ from a third eye view. Maybe I'm the piece of shit that just hit the fan like Mike Tyson in the 89, tired of prize fight. I'm trying to idolize right, but my idolize might see salt on everything I die sight. I'll burn that bitch when I get to it. I'll disappear like a cigarette. Just when it's getting too good not to look. I'll burn that bitch when I get to it. I'll disappear like a cigarette. Just when it's getting too good not to look. That's way too good.
Bring it back, bring it back, bring it back. Now
Bring
double
it
your
back
paper
down.
and make a stack. What? Bring it back down. bring
So
it.
we're freestyling now?
Yeah, we're doing that. Just freestyle. Let's just freestyle. You guys want to freestyle for a minute? You sure?
No.
Even if I give you like some lyrics,
No.
I'm like,
then it's not. then it's not freestyle.
I'm still asleep. I'm not mentally
All
aware.
right, can you hit me with a beat? Can you hit me with a beat?
oh,
Dennis is like, don't fuck up my table.
It sounds good. We should sample that.
Dun, dun,
Yeah.
dun. That's about to be the shittiest that you've ever heard in your life. But I need y'all to keep going. Dun, dun. Yeah. Yeah. Check it. My name is Lodi. I like to party. I like to smoke all day and get naughty. I like to eat some cheese and that's bodied up. I like to sneeze and that's alried up.
Nope.
It's like
It's over.
It's
It's over.
over. Is that over?
I'm gonna call it.
Looks like I'm putting a professional pin in this
Yes.
before your career
I'm gonna
goes
leave
to
my
shit.
information
keep
with your
working
producer,
on that. That's
so
potential.
I get royalties for that.
Yeah. We
It's
were
like I'm
part
gonna
of
need
it.
Split that.
55%.
You can split that.
I wrapped it. Yeah, 55%.
Oh my god.
I sampled it.
All right. What's the most important thing? Back on the SYLA topic. This is support your local artists with Lodi, Lo, and David.
See.
Say it with me now. What is the most important thing that you would tell to an up-and-coming artist who's trying to do something in the scene? Either just perform more, put out more records, become a glorious fame person. What would you tell them?
Glorious fame.
Don't do that.
Don't.
None of us are glorious
It's
fame.
like, oh yeah, all that you're thinking about, that your hopes and dreams. Yeah, don't do it. Don't do it.
No.
So what would you tell them?
Yeah.
besides that?
So like, I feel like in every musician's journey, there's always like this hump that they can't get over, and it seems like you'll never ever do anything or go anywhere or achieve anything. And man, you just gotta persevere through that, because it has nothing to do with your talent or your time or like or the people around you or your money. It has nothing to do with that. It's just something you gotta persevere through. It's like college, you know, like it's not.
I feel
like
that.
you know, like it's you just gotta get through it. It's not.
Yeah. It's
You don't have to be like a
experience.
genius. You can just gotta
Make it
persevere.
through.
Yeah.
And just like keep
Yeah.
putting one foot in front of the other. And then like I'd say that but like also to not be too, like be a bit more flexible also, so that way if things don't work the way that you want it to, just kind of like take that in stride.
Oh yeah.
And still like push forward for sure.
Oh yeah.
Because if like things don't work out the way that you want them to, and you get riled up about it, then you get like riled up all the time because life is just throwing what it's throwing at you. But yeah, Lo.
Well, I agree with that because like I'm in the midst of that stage of my career.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It's a lot.
Tell us about it. You're doing the part-time jobs and the artistry.
Yeah, and the artistry. And that's really hard because like you get really discouraged because you're like, I mean, it's something that we all do where we look around and we're like, oh my gosh, like they're progressing and I'm like here. And it feels like you're being like in a race, like, but it's not that way at all. Like you're in competition with yourself.
For sure.
So like you're saying like persevere, but that's awesome.
I feel that.
But like a couple of years ago when I was first starting, I met Janelle Monáe.
Ooh.
And like I look up to her so much. She is a goddess. But when I met her, I was like, okay, I gotta ask her like one question. Like one question. Like, only one question. And I asked her, I was like, the same question you just asked me, what advice do you have? And she said,
greens, beans, potatoes, tomatoes.
No.
Greens, beans, potatoes. Bro.
You name it. Yes. Yeah. Totally.
That would have been the biggest plot twist ever.
That's
My
totally
mind
it.
went there too, man. That's
Yeah. She just jumps out. No. But
No.
she said, take your time. Take your time and develop because you really only have one opportunity to introduce yourself artistically.
yeah.
So like make sure that it's authentic, make sure that it's you, you know. That's why I was so grateful that I was able to mess with sounds and stuff before with other producers and experimenting with other artists' sounds because I was able to segue into, okay, this is my lane, this is who I am, and this is what I enjoy and what exudes from me naturally. So take your time, Janelle Monáe.
I think that's really good. I do.
Yeah.
And
Really
maybe
betting on
it's
the
just
green
an
beans,
excuse
tomatoes.
for why
But
we're
in a
dragging our
rush.
feet so much, but
Don't procrastinate, but take time with your craft and
To do it right.
and learn and experience and get to know yourself. That's really important because like a lot of people, they look around and they're like, okay, what's trendy? What's going on? What's kind of like the zeitgeist in the production world? And then they just do that.
Gotcha.
And then, you know, you get lost in the shuffle because there's too many people doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And it's not authentic. Like, be yourself. That's
sure.
really important.
Be yourself.
I guess that's what I'll say.
Hey.
Be yourself.
Be yourself.
Yes.
And it falls back to that self-love that we talked about earlier, right? Because if you really kind of love yourself, you like learn to just be yourself.
Yeah.
Like I've always kind of felt that specifically to share that message, and also with the context of you are enough.
Yes.
Right. Like
Yeah.
a lot of people kind of, and it's really easy, and it's like the most cliche thing that people look at what they see on social media and they really want to be like that and they idolize that or whatever. But like to come to a certain acceptance of yourself being enough will make itself really self-evident in like how you then carry yourself and how you portray yourself to others. And then I think you start to reflect more of that. And at first it'll be like, why are things going like so smoothly? But then it'll be like, you just found the stream because you like understood and accepted that you were enough and decided to go with whatever life throws at you. And then you learn, and then you get a little bit better with time and age. And take your time about it. Put out that artistry. Oh, I got the cold
Salud.
today. Not even. I'm just getting over the cold. It's just this annoying thing in my throat. But another thing I kind of want to ask you guys about, favorite sports, series, docuseries. What do you watch? What is grabbing your eyes' attention all the time?
oh, buddy,
You a football Sunday guy? Are you really
you ready for this?
You really missing out on football Sunday right now?
What do you think?
Me too.
What do you guys think that I'm into?
Hockey,
Nope.
Yeah.
basketball,
No.
football, darts.
You ready for this? All right,
Super
Lottie.
hardcore.
All right.
Swimming.
Rugby.
I am probably the biggest disc golf fan,
Dude.
like in North Texas.
Nice.
I am sold out.
Have you
bro.
played all the time at UNC?
I played 50 holes yesterday with my wife. No
Bro.
lie, we played 50.
That's love. That's
telling you,
love.
man, it's my passion. I've played since I was 14, dude.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I can't stand football.
I didn't know about it until like 18.
Dude. Like, I'm
Like,
not even
disc
about
golf,
it at all,
what is
yeah.
that?
But you put some disc golf on, some Jomez Pro.
TCC Southeast Campus just opened up a disc golf course in like their back area. And it's a pretty cool course. And they like, this is why I also like working for TCC. Part-time plug. I work at TCC, Tarrant County College, Texas College Champions. It's a pretty cool school. But they named it after a guy who was there and an instrumental member of their like athletics department and like
Heck yeah.
physical health. And he died. Like it was a weird, mysterious thing. Like he didn't show up for days.
Like a young
And they're
guy?
like he was like young. He was like
Oh, wow.
30, I think early 30s, maybe even late
Jeez,
20s.
I'm early 30s.
Right? And he just like he
Dominant. You're like, it could be me.
it's all coming together.
It'll feel so good.
That heart
guys.
attack
like
could hit
disc
different.
golf
feel
in my
dizzy.
early 30s.
Could hit right now. I'm pushing it, man. I'm about to be 29 this year. It's like
Yeah, it sucks.
next
like
year's
that's-
about to be 30.
That's
The
your
dirty
prime.
30.
It's like a decent.
That's what I'm telling.
I'm
That's what I'm
looking
saying too.
forward
It's
to
the
my 30s.
prime.
I'm just like, I'm gonna be over this hump of like being self-conscious and like,
Yeah, totally. You
'Cause
got
you
everything figured out. You have
figuring
money
shit
for
out,
days,
yeah.
right, Lottie?
yeah.
Oh yeah, like I'm
Everything's
pretty sure
figured
like
out.
everyone
Just-
just gets like a
All
million
your
when they turn 30,
anxieties are
right?
just gone. Yeah.
It's like, bling.
Yeah, you turn 30, the government sends you like a couple mil. It's
Yeah.
like, it's normal, right?
Just like you made it.
Yeah, you didn't die. You know,
didn't-
didn't smoke too much, didn't drink too
die.
much.
This
Then
is
boom.
making me so excited for the years to come. Thanks for that.
Anytime.
So optimistic.
What was I talking about? I do not remember.
Sports. What are we
Docuseries
watching?
and sports. So you
Yeah.
play disc golf.
I
Yes.
love disc
That's
golf.
very cool.
But yeah, this
I
guy,
love disc
yeah, the TCC thing. So yeah, he just stopped showing up to work for like 2 days. They didn't find him. Then they sent someone to his house, I believe, and then like his door was wide open. And it was like, why is his door wide open? And they walked in, and he was just dead on the couch. They named the disc golf course
murder.
after him because he was trying to, I think, bring that to fruition.
What a hero.
A mystery. I don't think it was a mystery murder. I think like he had like some sort of like maybe an aneurysm, pulmonary aneurysm, something like where your vein snaps and you bleed a lot internally.
Okay.
One of those. Just
Why
like
was the door open?
I suppose like he came in and like it happened when he laid on the couch. and it was
Oh,
just,
okay.
like,
I just imagine it like just.
not but people just
I
like
feel like
could
this
open
is
the door
turning
and-
into one of those murder mystery podcasts.
like we're gonna.
Was it
You know?
the janitor?
Like we're just
Was
like,
it Dennis?
We're sitting around like interviewing
From
people.
Dennis Wolf Nation Studios.
We're interviewing people that weren't even there. Have no idea.
Welcome to Scooby Doo.
Zoinks!
We'll be
What
hopping
can
in
you
the
tell us
mystery.
about-
We all know
machine.
Shaggy stayed high in that whole series. That's what happened in the Mystery Machine.
Yes.
All those
They were
puffs.
hotboxing.
All those
Yeah.
puffs around it. You thought that was them peeling off real fast?
Yeah.
Joke's on you, bud.
Why
Lots
do
of
you-
weed.
He talks to a dog.
But the dog talks back.
There's your first hint.
So
Facts. All right,
That's
Lo,
an amazing-
do you watch any sport in particular or series or docuseries?
I don't really keep up with a sport,
Mm.
but I played soccer for 13 years.
Nice. Do you like
So
like
that's
Megan
my-
Rapinoe and the U.S. Women's National Team?
I don't pay
little bit.
attention.
Ooh.
Like I'm terrible.
But they
I'm a
kinda
terrible
big
sports
right
fan.
now.
I'm like I'm too concerned with my art to worry about
That's a good
kicking
answer.
balls. No, like,
I'm kicking balls in real life.
yeah,
They just doing
kick
it for
him in the
sport.
net. I'm just-
Stomp him in the nuts.
I feel like that's
Never
another one of
Boondocks.
those.
Isn't that from Boondocks, Dennis?
That's what feminism is, right?
Stomp him in the nuts.
Just,
Stomp
just
him
beating
in
men
the
up.
nuts.
Yeah, right.
Is that what it is?
It's about equality.
Ooh.
No.
Can we have this conversation? Can we have it as
About
three adults about feminism?
Yes.
It's
Something.
three dudes and one chick. Yeah, let's talk about all we
talk
know
you
about
guys tell
feminism.
me.
Do it. We're gonna shit
Yeah.
talk feminism on the podcast all the time. I'm kidding. All right.
No.
All right.
No.
So where would you start? How do you feel? Okay, let me see if I can kind of facilitate this the right way. A lot of people feel like these days feminism is like this overruling of women, like crushing men in some department and like righting us off of the wrongs, and it's this big rectification. And a lot of people kind of resent women for it and resent like a lot of other things that are really important for our culture to work its way through and show to us. But it's like maybe in a bit of a like hard whiplash because we're like punishing people, but yet encouraging certain people to come out, but punishing a lot of old people. I don't know. How do you feel like lead the conversation? That's just kind of what I see and what I feel like makes it hard for some people to say, yeah, I'm a feminist, you know,
Yeah.
or really support that movement.
Yeah. Well, I'm I'm gonna try and articulate this best I can, but I'm not an expert.
Don't worry, you just have all women riding on your shoulders in this explanation.
Yeah,
If
okay.
you get it wrong,
Pressure.
That's great. Don't get mad at me, guys.
Whoopi Goldberg is gonna come down personally.
Oh, I hope not.
And
But-
I got
get
a
our
pass,
grievances.
man.
He's like,
say
I'm
whatever I
not
want.
saying
I just-
anything.
I can just be part of the problem. I don't have to
Please
do anything
no.
right.
Please no, but
Whoopi coming for you too, bro.
Yeah.
All right, look, what's up?
no. So I think that like we were quiet for a very long time about things that were wrong,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like this was comfortable for the people that were causing the wrong things to happen.
Mm.
And they're like, oh yeah, like this is awesome. I'm gonna abuse my power. And like with the Harvey Weinstein, that's his last name, Weinstein situation and the Me Too movement.
That
like,
was gross misabuse. Like,
but that happens so much.
Yeah.
So much. And like it's happened in my career, like multiple times, with abuses of power or just men like objectifying, being like, oh, like you're nothing more than this body that you're in. But I think that with the movement, with the things that are happening now, like not men, but like people in general are getting angry with women that are doing that because it's like we're shifting
Because they
into
haven't
how
been
it
called
should
out that way.
how it should be.
Yeah.
Like I had somebody like shake my hand and instead of hugging me and saying like, oh, didn't want to me too you, because like it was like,
What?
yeah.
Like, you don't even have to bring that up if it's like, that's just a person trying to like.
It's a
air
verb
that out.
now.
Yeah, it's oh, you just me too'd me. I'm gonna tweet about this.
Me too'd me.
And me too'd.
I got me too'd.
What a weird time to be alive, man.
I got me
Yeah.
too'd in the back 7 times yesterday, dude. Wasn't pleasant.
I will say though that like the point you brought up about women, especially in music, the thing that we're is like, man, I hate to see that. I hate to see it because it's they get really taken advantage of by whoever's on top.
That's totally true.
Yeah.
It's not even like something
it
that
makes
I
you
should lie
sick too, dude. Like,
Yeah.
If you're another artist and you see that, it's disgusting.
about. It really is. And that time we're just gonna ignore it because this is that real talk. This is that real shit you don't find on the TV. So just keep listening. I don't know if you're listening or watching, but keep doing it. All right, but
Ominous.
I get that, and I've always kind of been a proponent of like being at least open to the conversation and not being too offended by it to be able to talk about it. Like that's the only thing that I really think is the most important thing to keep any kind of like social correctness going. Because like otherwise you'll have like a lot of retribution, which is kind of what's happened. Like we finally aired out horrible people like Weinstein and like gross mismanagers, and we're starting to call out people and make them quit and lose all this stuff. And it's important to do that too. But then at the same time, and Dave Chappelle kind of brought this up in his last stand-up special.
Yeah, it was
we
so
had like
good, dude.
7 states just like, okay. And then they made like abortion like banned essentially across really, really red states. And like that backlash is kind of a terrible thing, which is completely misdirected. Because if you really, really wanted to stop abortion from happening, like there's way better things you could do, like make birth control way more accessible.
Yes.
Ask men to use more condoms because
Or
that's
just,
really
like,
where a lot of like
Sex education.
Sex education is
here in
basic.
the South, like especially we're so conservative.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that and like beliefs and having your own beliefs, but like some kids don't have access to like a parent to talk to about it and like learn from them. And so when the moment arises that they're in the situation, like
This is the only thing that they don't know better.
and then it primarily falls on the female in the situation because like it's her body. And like with the banning of abortion, when the news broke, there also was a story about there was an 11-year-old that was raped in Alabama.
Dang.
And like was going to be going forward with the procedure and wasn't able to, and you know ultimately either had to travel to a totally different state to go through that procedure or go through with it.
That's
11
rough.
years old.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? Because it's traumatic enough to like experience the rape.
Yeah. But then
As
to
a
now have to
child?
go through
No. So no matter what you believe, like that, I feel like that is wrong.
It's pretty heavy. And then like the same conservative like people that would be proponents of that are really like misguided in it. And I've even like I've read I've listened to a podcast that like extensively explains, and I'll talk about it in a second. But those same people are not for programs that would then help you take care of that child. Like they're not really for like a lot of stuff that's gonna help people just feed
like
their
they
kids.
just shouldn't have the situation in the first place.
Right, and it's like, but not all of that is preventable, and it's not
like
even gonna be
sexual abuse from an adult. Like,
right. It's like that stuff is still happening for sure around, and there's still kids that are gonna do that, and there's still gonna be people who are gonna get abortions about it. They're just now gonna be going about it in a less safe environment.
Yes.
So there's like just so many holes to poke in like being pro-life argument, like, to call the pro-life, pro-choice thing, I think was like it was a language split that stopped people from having a productive conversation about it, because we're all pro-life. Like we all want that kid to live. We all want them to have a wonderful lifestyle, but we also understand that realistically sometimes in life that's not the case that people are handed to with. But it's like if you want to prevent that from being a thing, because it's like not something deemed like nice to happen, there's better ways that they could go about it if they were really for that. And it has to do with, I was listening to this whole podcast on, and you can find this probably in Crooked Media or NPR in some form or fashion. The Evangelical Society of America that kind of moved as a large body in politics around the time Reagan got elected.
Okay.
Like right during the turn of the Republican era, where they kind of needed a new face and a new brand. They needed something to champion.
A brand.
Yeah, like it's really kind of it's interesting. I'm not gonna get into
about
like
the-
Political
politics.
parties.
I think you're talking about the
Actually.
conservative resurgence.
Yeah, there's that, but like this was a moment when they knew that like the Democrats essentially had way more charming ways of getting things done because they were actually for a majority of the people, and they realized that more conservative values were like being challenged, and they didn't want to lose that power, especially since they kind of were able enough to band collectively and had enough money to like donate to enough candidates to kind of keep their districts the way that they want through like either the tax cuts or whatever, and control. And like when this turnaround happened and they needed a big thing to fight against, it became that evangelicals were now for life, and they were hard against abortion. When actually before a certain era, they never were. It's weird. Like before Roe v. Wade, evangelicals literally were on the fence about abortion.
Really?
Yeah,
Like they had no idea.
They had discussions about it, and in some states totally agreed that abortion was like necessary a thing to have, and they understood that there were different circumstances. But it was when it became a political move by somebody who tapped into evangelicals being dissatisfied with the status quo based off of democratic policies and whatnot. They were like, we need a cause that we can rally people around. Think about dead babies and how much we don't want that. And then they decided to make that a thing and put it in people's faces that like Democrats would allow this, even though it was like not because they wanted kids to get killed or whatever, but they want people to have the option to based off of circumstance. So like that whole turn of it is like there's a fakeness in there, and that's possibly kicking up a lot of dust about the matter and causing people to argue about it when it's not really something that we really disagree on. There's a minority of people that really, really want to ban abortion clinics and safe access to abortion. And it's just some of them happen to be in like enough power to make it inconvenient for everybody else.
Yeah.
But it's some other shady stuff, man. How do you feel about, I don't know, politics in general? Do you keep up with it?
Politics. Honestly, since Trump got elected,
Oh, man.
like it became like a joke to me. Like I'm like 2020's coming. 2020's coming. We're gonna go through this again, and I hated it when it was happening because I felt like it was so divisive.
Yeah.
And I hate that we have these political parties and that people label themselves as such. And like if you walk in a room and you're like, yeah, like I'm a libertarian, then people automatically think something of you when you may like have different beliefs.
And
you know?
people that connect.
Are
with
you libertarian?
I'm not gonna label myself
not
because
going
then people
to
are gonna think
Let
I'm a-
known
no.
my political affirmations here on this podcast.
Yeah,
I'll be the
no.
first to say I am.
Talk to my manager about it.
Talk to my medic.
I suppose I would like call myself a Democrat. Like I don't like tout it and be like I'm Democrat or whatever. But I think if any change for progression is gonna occur, it has to come through the Democratic Party. Like the Democratic Party is the party of, okay, we know that we've been wrong before. Let's start changing it. The Republican Party keeps trying to take us back.
Yeah.
Like there was a time when things were better for everybody, when there really wasn't. That's why the slogan like "Make America Great Again" rung so true with like a lot of people
Yeah.
who really felt that sort of way. And this guy, and my dad like told me this when it happened, when he got elected. Like he was like, America loves a good con man. It's like
Yeah.
you don't think about it, but like think about all your politicians. They all say all this wonderful stuff that they're gonna do, but a majority
They
of them
play
are
the
not following
game.
up for it.
They play
Like
the game.
why do we have scams just kind of running amok? Like why do we have people who can just like convince you that this is the case when it's not? Like America just kind of like has a thing for falling for the con man.
Yeah.
Like because I suppose we want to believe in something that's hopeful rather than accepting what needs to change.
I think they enjoy the controversy because we're so addicted to entertainment.
We kind of are. And this
Like-
dude definitely is an entertainer.
Yeah, because like there were all of these like really juicy sound bites that were circulating on the internet, and like people were into it, and so that like caused him to be more and more popular, and so he was the most popular candidate. And
It kind of shocked me. Even more upset than that, I honestly was upset that the Democratic Party, that they let me down because they karate chopped Bernie Sanders' nomination from him. I really believed that it was supposed to be him. Like I mean, Hillary would have been like a great, super awesome, qualified president, like without doubt. But
she has experience.
she has the experience and all that you needed to do that. But, and this is where like a lot of people will disagree with me on this, like that wasn't the time for it. Like they gave her that nomination because it was like, well, you've done so much for the party. You've sacrificed your time. You've gone through the effort. You've worked really, really hard for this party. And even though this is not necessarily the time for you to take this pivotal role because maybe you've already done all that you need to for this party, but they sacrificed the nomination for what they knew a majority of their body wanted and had already physically shown in Bernie Sanders, and gave it because they knew that like they valued their relationship with her. So it was like, we got to pay back the person that's like been our A1 in the corner,
Yeah.
even though that's not the best man for the fight right now.
Yeah.
Because if they had looked at it, they would have seen that the numbers polled that like people were way more dissatisfied with Hillary than they were even satisfied with Trump.
Well, like I have such mixed feelings about Bernie Sanders
Why?
because so I'm Cuban
Mm-hmm.
and my grandparents.
Socialism.
Yeah, my grandparents come from Cuba when Castro took over.
Mm.
So when they were 13 and 14 years old, they were like they fled from the country in this program called the Peter Pan Project.
Mm.
And the U.S. sent over planes
Mm-hmm.
to take children that were, little babies up until I think 15 or 14 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like it. And just all of this traumatic stuff, like Castro came in and like took their store that they owned. My great grandmother, when she stepped onto the boat, they like strip searched her and took the underwear that she was wearing off of her body because it was made of silk.
Wow.
Dang.
And so it's like all this to be said, evidently Bernie Sanders like praised Castro in an interview in like the 80s, and my abuela sent it to me because we were, in the thick of that election and like getting into like screaming matches because I was like, but he has all of these wonderful, wonderful things, and that still is true. But it's like that was such an extreme, and Castro ended up being a dictator
Yeah.
and hurting so many people. And like my grandparents, they don't want to go back to Cuba because they're afraid of what it would be like now. And they're like, you can't go there either because like essentially when you go to Cuba, the money goes up into the government, and then all of the government people take the majority of it,
Yep.
and then it's circumvented back into the people. But it's like scraps. Like
Yeah.
doctors get $20 a month.
Mm-hmm.
Doctors.
That I've heard of that. I'm not surprised by it. Like, and this is what I kind of have to say, that like I get that that's how a society can shake out under socialism, but that's not even to say that a society like that can't shake out under a democracy, because I come from Nigeria, and that country claims to be democratic and claims to have gotten its democracy and really gotten independent from the British colony and the rules of that manner. And yet it still finds a way to massively exploit a majority of its citizens the exact same way.
Yeah.
I don't think it's the system of government. Like, I don't know why Bernie, like, specifically really, really wants to tout being a socialist. I think we're already doing things that are socialist on a level. We already pool money together to say that we should pay for a necessity that we all
Public
kind of need and
schools,
use.
fire departments.
All of
That's
those
what we
things.
spend our most money on is
Libraries.
welfare programs.
Right? And
Those are socialistic ideas.
we just need that in the proper way that the powers that be under a democratic capitalist society. It's not even just the fact that it's democratic, it's also the fact that it's capitalist.
Right.
Which I don't think has served us well either. But that's like a whole argument for another day. Like education. You should have that as a right. If you work and you pay taxes, you have the right to be educated, not only just to benefit you as an individual, but because the research shows that like when your individuals are educated, that's kind of how you develop
No,
infrastructure.
that helps your economy.
Exactly.
That helps your economy, especially with like engineers and doctors and more like top tier professions.
Third world poor countries understand that more so than America.
Yeah.
I don't understand the desire to mortgage your education to your kids. Like,
Yeah, with the debt and
right?
Yeah.
And like where you even see that like benefiting from. And then they say that it's like this whole like we're in a public debt thing. And I'm like coming to America was a really, really huge shock thing for me because I was like, this was the first place that I realized a lot of people don't own things that they say that they own. And like in Nigeria, if you own
What?
something like the notion that the home that you lived in was not yours, but literally a bank's that could come and take it.
Oh, in terms of its ownership.
Like,
gotcha.
mortgaging.
because in Nigeria, you don't say that you own something unless you like own it.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
like or if it's
Yeah.
in debt, it's known
colloquial
and it's
here.
open.
Yeah.
Like it's colloquial in that sense. Right? It's weird. But in Nigeria, like you wouldn't say that this is my thing if you don't own it and you're still
Sure.
paying it off. But like
Yeah.
in America, that's like the norm.
Oh yeah.
It's like it's the norm in fact for people to mortgage out stuff that they know that they're going to be paying for the next 20 to 25 years of their life. And that blew my mind because no one in Nigeria ever does that because they don't want that. They want security. They're like, I'm going to save up all that money and just straight up be like, here's cash. Give me this house.
Man, I'm
bye
renting
bye.
this podcast right now.
I'm learning so much.
Dude, so like if all of that level of abuse, so to say, can still happen in Nigeria to where a majority of who we elect still sucks up a majority of the money and the people are still given scraps. I've been subject to that under a democratic society. So like, and I think it's the people and the leadership in itself. And the fact that people are flawed is like a truth that government is always going to be flawed on some level. Like my dad told me this perfectly and it trapped me for like 10 minutes in my head. He was like, the perfect government comes from the perfect people, but the perfect people don't need a government. Right? Because they just exist in order for themselves. And anarchists are kind of like closer towards that fence of saying that if we don't have any rulers whatsoever, that we should expect that people's best will come out and will understand how to live together. It might be like rough for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
We might like kill each other.
I get it.
Just a little bit, but we'll eventually like mellow out. And that's what, like, if you're anarchist, you believe that.
Yeah.
I'm not really anarchist.
I got a really close friend who's anarcho-capitalist.
Yeah,
He's a really big ANCAP.
dude. One of my roommates when I was living in Dallas for the first time was like libertarian and anarcho-capitalist.
Yeah.
He had like ideas about just like people
Yeah.
migrating to an island and literally developing their own systems there and all
It's crazy.
that stuff.
But hey, Lottie, I have a question. What is the how do you own something in a socialist government?
You don't.
Yeah,
But
see.
like then again, you can
See what I
never.
mean?
But yes,
Yeah.
but you can never really own something. Like think about, can you own your car? Can you really own your car?
Yeah, on my truck right now. It's paid off.
Like really? If you die, what happens then? Who owns it? Like, do you no longer own it? You can't like take it with you.
Oh, you're getting into the metaphysics of the thing.
The
Oh, I
metaphysics
see.
is always
I see.
there.
Oh, I see.
But the
Okay.
metaphysics is like always there. Like if you
Okay.
think about it, do you own your degree? Because somebody else said that like you've gone through a certain amount of classes, listened to enough professors,
Yeah.
marched enough to class and done enough tests and written on a sheet of paper that you are now this qualified person. Like, do you own that? Like what?
I have another question to pose.
What's up? Let's do it.
Another
We're getting it on
question.
this podcast.
No, but like, as an artist, does your gift really belong to you?
Mm-mm. It's coming through you.
Okay.
I believe that personally. Like I believe that's why anyone can literally write a hit record and just like put that out there who have never done music that way.
Yeah, we did.
Like
Who's Bizzy?
Beyonce, her voice doesn't belong to her. It's the people's.
It just comes through her. Like
Yeah.
there's some people who like there's an aspect of a gift that's given to you, but there's also the aspect that you can control about it if you choose to work hard and craft it. If you do that the right way, you can propel yourself to a level of success that you'll be satisfied with. Like even those people who have amazing voices and all this talent don't necessarily carve out the best, happiest life for themselves either. So it's like you control a lot of that for yourself, but to claim that you like own it on a certain level, I think that's where like some downfall kind of happens. Like to say that it's only when you really, really feel like you own something that you identify with it, that it can then feel like you've lost something when it gets taken away from you, even though the universe is very balanced and fair in how it gives and takes, because it just happens. Like, why is somebody living the most perfect, honest, philanthropic life and they get into their car one day and they die in an accident? Like, why does that happen? Like, you can get spiritual about that stuff. Are we running low on time, Dennis? Are we running low on time? We got 5 minutes.
Like, so like when it comes to like theft, why do we feel such a strong sense of justice when you steal something from me?
Like you feel a strong sense of injustice because you feel like that stuff that you owned is somewhere deep down in your mind, and this is where
But
it
you're
really
saying
gets spiritual.
it doesn't exist.
I'm saying that it exists, but I'm saying like it's like you mean that it exists that the stuff can be taken away from you?
Yeah,
It can be taken away.
If you went out and stole my truck right now, why would I rage?
Because there's somewhere out.
Like why?
You would rage because something that you feel like you own has been taken away from you.
Ought I rage?
Honestly,
That's a good question, right?
It would be a natural human reaction to rage.
But
yes.
ought I? You're telling what I will do.
Ought you? Like,
trying to
should
get from
you?
the is to the ought. We're going Kant right now.
Okay.
All right, guys.
Come on, man. You stepped into the ring of philosopher. We're gonna do this.
I think the human ought not to. But if you do that, that's a sign that you're like
by
really,
what
really,
standard?
Well, but we're really attached to our things.
We really are. We really are. But like ultimately, when you die alone. None of those things go with you.
That's true.
Like so,
That's true.
To really tie themselves to yourself when literally you could step outside and die in like whatever.
But legacy goes with you.
Legacy goes with
The
you. But
impact you had on the world.
the true legacy that you leave behind are not even things that are material, are they?
No.
Legacy isn't. So
Justice
that tells you
is
that
something that's meaningful, though,
It's
right?
interaction.
it's meaningful, but like
Right.
to claim to like understand it on a level that the universe is to really act differently.
What
Yeah.
about your own life? What if I took your life?
If someone took my life, it would be like I couldn't. Well, that's that person's worry at that
Would
point.
you know, though?
Is it even your life?
Would you know?
It's life. I wouldn't
See?
call it my life.
So there's no sense of injustice.
There's a sense of injustice for sure, but like the universe as a whole, I really believe has justice. But let's save that for a more detailed conversation in a different podcast day.
I love it, dude.
Because
We'll
I
be
could
here.
totally,
Bring me on, man.
I could
I'll
totally
do
get
it.
into that. All right,
I will
we'll do
too.
it. We'll do it.
Okay.
We got to get into that
All right.
conversation. That's
I will show up an hour and a half late.
in a
Just sit.
Now that I know, I'm going to show up an hour and 29 minutes late.
Perfect.
All right. But real quick. So the only thing that really like kind of connects us on a certain level closely right now for this podcast is the fact that we are all playing a show on September 28th.
Yeah.
And we haven't even talked about the whole
That's right.
podcast.
Oh, man, music.
But we're going to punch it in at some point and definitely let people know who are listening to the podcast. So September 28th, thank you guys and your
Yeah.
bands respectively for accepting
Now.
the challenge and power and joy of playing Local Palooza.
Yes.
Which is this is the second one that I'm hosting. It's Local Palooza 3. And it's going to be at the Haltom City Theater on September 28th, starting at 5 p.m. to about 12. Hopefully not getting in the way if you're still trying to go out and drink the night away. But we got a bunch of whole local talent coming at you. You got Famous Exchange. You've got Conifer, Simone
yeah.
Nicole, Lo, Abel Delilah, Wallpaper People, and Pink House the Band.
That's right.
I think I got everybody. Did I get everybody?
Dude, why don't you turn that into like a freestyle, man?
Turn it. All right, we got Pink House. Get Swifty in here. Get Swifty. Dennis with the Thundercat shirt. Pink House the Band.
Right here in my ears.
Famous Exchange. Yeah. Hit it. We got to harmonize it.
Of course he goes Michael Jackson. I can't hit that harmony. Come on, man.
Just try.
It's got to do
Accept the
it.
challenge.
Feel it.
Oh
Try.
my gosh.
Do or do not. There's no try. All right. We're
Well,
gonna
we're excited.
gonna call it a closing remarks point for the Local Palooza. And the SYLA podcast. Do you guys have any closing remarks? Any shout outs? Any Any dissatisfactions? Anyone to curse at over because they owe you money, like 50 cents? Anything?
No cursing of people, but just excitement because
I'm so excited.
I'm gonna be putting out new music soon.
Oh yeah.
New shit?
Doing these shows.
Do you have a date? Do you have a
There we go.
date people should be
No
aware of?
dates yet.
No dates?
No
Okay.
dates, but know that I'm working really hard.
Hey, I
Yeah.
believe it. I'm looking at her. She's sweating right now because she's working so
Yes.
hard. It's like
Yes.
everywhere.
I'm here on a Sunday to hang out with you.
No, what they don't see is like she's actually back here with like a MIDI board. And she's
Yeah, it's
She's
like-
actually been
as
making a whole
she's-
EP.
Yeah,
Right,
I've been
she's
doing
sampling
this the whole
everything,
time.
and
We're
yeah.
talking about metaphysics, and she's like,
Yeah,
all right.
they've been doing all these drum noises, and I'm actually using them on the record. So
Yep. It's,
stay tuned.
Yeah.
You'll be talking to my lawyers about that. All right. Love you guys. That's the SYLA podcast, episode 3. Thank you so much to Dennis and Wolf Nation Studios for being the bestest. Love y'all. Take it easy.